In July 1860, the schooner ship Clotilda, captained by William Foster, who worked for Timothy Meyer, a wealthy shipbuilder, arrived in Mobile, Alabama with 110 African slaves aboard. The global slave trade had been outlawed by the British some 60 years earlier. Because of this, the ship was operating under false pretenses, saying it was delivering lumber. The ship owner had learned that the king of Dahomey, now present-day West African country Benin, was at war with rival tribes and had prisoners of war to sell as slaves. Meyer saw this as a golden opportunity and even bragged to another wealthy man that he could pull off the operation. The wealthy Alabama man was risking his freedom in spite of the 1807 federal act prohibiting the importation of slaves. Nevertheless, Meyer put together the crew for the voyage and on March 4, 1860, set sail for Africa with a crew of 12. On May 15, 1860, the Clotilda arrived at the African coast of the Kingdom of Dahomey, where he offered to buy 125 slaves for $100 each. The identity of these people has been theorized. Some sources say they were of the Tarkbar tribe of what is now Ghana, or they were either the Takpa or Tapa tribes of what is now Nigeria. Upon seeing a British man-of-war near the coast while at port, Foster and the crew left Dahomey, leaving 15 slaves behind in their haste. By June 30th, they had reached the Bahamas, outrunning the British warship. When he reached the U.S., he anchored at Grand Bay, Mississippi, and traveled overland by horse to meet Meyer. To cover his tracks and destroy the evidence, he had the ship towed and transferred the slaves to a steamboat before setting Clotilda on fire and sinking it. He also promised to pay the crew double to secure their silence. Meyer kept 30 slaves for his plantation and sold the rest to others. In 1861, just before the Civil War broke out, the federal government opened a case against Foster and Meyer, likely based on the testimony from one of the crew. However, the government lacked evidence, and the case was dropped as the war broke out, with Alabama ultimately joining the Confederacy.